Peace and blessings. This is your girl Naya for Naya Thrice Chronicles. And this is going to be a year ahead spread reading. This is kind of a experimental spread that I'm trying. I do have a usual way of doing year ahead spreads that you're very well aware of. This is a client reading. But I'm trying something different this year. So basically what I have going on here is I have the Animal Messages Oracle, the Oracle of the Radiant Sun. I have my Crystal Fire Hertzer Illuminated Tarot deck, the 22 majors from my Dodal, and a Lenormand deck. So this is a little menagerie of different card styles, but hopefully it's cohesive and it gives you some insights and information that you can take with you into 2020. So I'm gonna just shuffle and focus on my client. This is a preset spread with meanings already, so we will see as we go. So just breathe and tap in and think about what 2020 is going to mean for you, where you would like to see it go, what you would like to manifest, what you would like to release. It's a lot of cards to shuffle, so I apologize in advance. Continue to focus and breathe with me. That one wanted to jump, so I'm going to let that one stay. And last but certainly not least, all right, so I think I want to work top down in this spread. Or maybe we should start from the base and work our way up. Yeah, that might be good. All right. Okay. Now, make sure everything is in frame here. Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead and start from the bottom here. So basically this is themes and lessons of 2020 for you. We have the Hermit. So themes and lessons. The Hermit. The Hermit is about, utilizing all of the information, the wisdom gained, the knowledge gained, and cultivating that into something that you can share, that you can shed a light on to others. You may, find yourself standing in your own lane. I feel, in a sense, this is not so much of you being isolated, but of you being a guide and illuminating your insights and your wisdoms to other people. There may be times where you do need to take a step back and recharge your energy. So you may need a little bit of time alone. So try to figure out that balance between what you're able to give to others and what you need for yourself. I think these are going to be some of the themes and the lessons for you. other things about the Hermit too, there's a very methodical, focused, persevering, like this diligent and very focused dexterity that comes with the use, with the give and take of the wisdom and the information and the practical side of how that all works on a day-to-day mundane level. I know that you are highly intuitive and very empathetic, and that sometimes you can stay in that very ethereal and emotional realm. Find ways of grounding yourself. This is going to be one of the themes here. Find practical ways of feeling, being in the mundane world, in your muggle life, as we like to say, and focus on that, whether it be going for walks, maybe working out, maybe something tangible, something to kind of tether you back into reality when you find yourself feeling maybe a little bit spacey, maybe feeling a little bit too like you just can't shake somebody else's energy when you tapped into them and you're working with them on that level. I think that is something of the utmost importance. Find something to help you ground. So, energy that you want to focus on is taking care of your heart, taking care of the things that you love. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much cut and dry. Take care of your heart. Don't find the balance. Again, that hermit, that give and take, knowing, the wisdom to know the difference of how much you could give versus how much you have in your energy reserves. You want to focus on self-care, because if you're not taking care of yourself, how can you really expect to take care of other people, right? If you are giving of yourself, let's say, for example, you are a tree. I don't know how much earthier we can get, right? If you're a fruit bearing tree, how can you give of fruit if you're not watering yourself, if you're not replenishing your own reserves in order to produce that fruit? You see what I mean? And that's definitely coming from a heart-centered space. So take care of your heart. And I feel like I'm getting from spirit, that's like on multiple levels. You know what I'm saying? So take care of take care of your health, take care of your emotions, and and allow compassion to guide you through this year. Advice to guide you: look for new opportunities, new adventures, new ideas, new passions. These are the things that are going to guide you ultimately towards writing out a new chapter in the new decade. Look for these new opportunities and come at it from a childlike perspective, not naivety, but curiosity, imagination, openness, and if it's calling to you and it's really something that you feel passionate about, look out for those opportunities. They are going to be there as the year unfolds. An attitude to cultivate for 2020: abundance. Fishes in this deck are abundance. It also means money, but I doubt that it's saying to have an attitude towards being. It's not about greed. It's about abundance. It's about allowing yourself to know that you are able to get more. Like, how do I explain this? You've been my client for a long time, and you're very giving of yourself, and you also live below your means. You do so whether you have the excess or you do not have the excess. I think this card is suggesting that you allow yourself to live a little bit more within the means as opposed to so much well below your means, if that makes sense. I know that's not what, necessarily makes you super passionate, but I think giving, what's the word I'm looking for here? Ease up a little bit. You know what I mean? Stop being so frugal. I love you and I'm going to say it that way. Stop being so frugal. Keep that attitude to cultivate abundance in your life in all areas, not just monetarily, right? With love, with new opportunities, with guidance, with spirituality, with your health. All of those things. Speak abundance into, cultivate that attitude of abundance, and I can have it all. And it's just a matter of finding the right balance, but we could all have it all as long as we kind of focus on willing that to occur without shifting the mindset from the lack mindset into the abundance mindset, that there's more than enough to go around for everybody, and watch what a difference that's going to make for you in 2020. Okay, so right here is a little quick 3-card reading. Well, yeah, it is and it's not. So this card is going to tell you what you want to stop doing. Yeah, okay, that it's just reiterating itself. It's basically saying to stop being stubborn and stop holding on to things that either don't no longer serve you or are sitting stagnant. So if there's something that's stagnant and you can't get movement on it, you might want to let it go. You don't want to be necessarily frugal. You want to try to shift from that lack mindset to the abundance mindset, So stop doing that. Stop telling yourself, reflect. And this goes back to the Hermit. I want you to reflect back on your inner dialogue and what that sounds like. And how could you reprogram your brain to think abundance, to think practically, of course, but where can you splurge a little bit more for it to be more convenient to be productive and to manifest what you need to manifest, or to get things done the way you need them to get done without sacrificing time. You know what I mean? For lack of a better term. Okay, so stop the frugality. Start. I love when the cards reiterate themselves. I find it so interesting. So you want to start. Here, this card, in my mind, goes with these 2 cards here. So we have the Ace of Wands, and I'm sorry, that's Ace of Wands. Wands are passion. Aces are beginnings. We have the heart with the new things that make your heart, passion. Start something new, something that you've been passionate about. Maybe it's something you haven't had an opportunity to explore yet. Maybe it's been something deep down in the back of your mind that you've been wanting to pursue. I suggest that the cards are suggesting that that's what you should focus on. Look for where those opportunities are. Look for where those baby steps will lead you to be able to begin that project, begin in that, be it project, career path, relationships. I mean, it could be a number of things, because the main theme here is potential, opportunities and potential, and of a heart-centered nature, and that you're extremely passionate about. So you want to start looking for those things and beginning those things. And then what you want to continue, I love that. What you want to continue, into 2020. Here we have the Queen of Wands. So, you don't have to completely change everything. You want to continue to hone your craft and I say that with all love and intention. There's a lot that you do, that you've invested a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of focus on, and you've gotten a lot back reward wise for that. If you feel stuck, if you feel stagnant, look for the new opportunities to how to freshen it up. But continue to stay authentic to that craft and that little kingdom that you've built around yourself. Is successful by every right. It is abundance will come from it. Just find out other ways and other avenues, other ways of branching out. I feel like that's what maybe these cards are all suggesting. Maybe you've been feeling stuck and stagnant. Find a way of branching out, but definitely you want to continue to do what you're doing. You just need to find more efficient ways or creative ways of, what is it? Work harder, not smarter. Work smarter, not harder. I said that backwards, excuse me. Work smarter, not harder. You know what I mean? You could do the same thing, but how can you make your process more efficient? Because by making your process more efficient, it gives you time back. What can you do with that time? Meditate, rest, exercise. Maybe you'll have time for something else that you've been wanting to get into. So I feel like efficiency and new things, I think you get the picture that I'm painting, right? I hope so. Okay. Now we are up to the top. So that's basically the core of the reading. And then up here, what we have is we're going to have an animal, kind of like an animal totem, I suppose, that you can hold on to for 2020. And then with this pile, there's going to be a word to carry with you into 2020. Okay. So I already shuffled these. I was getting ready to shuffle them again, but ooh, the crocodile. The alchemy of energy teaches that death will always yield new life. This is very interesting, and I even feel like spirit is really coming through on this because it's that's pretty deep. So my condolences for everything that you have gone through this year. I'm aware. I know how difficult it can be to deal with the passing of a loved one. And my heart really does go out to you. And, on a different, bigger set, and me and you have had this conversation personally before, we do know that after a certain amount of time, what tends to hurt the most is the void that death actually brings, but eventually what happens is that void, the person, of course, and the memories can never ever be replaced, but in the current time, people, new people come in, new things come in, new opportunities, new friends, family, other family members get pregnant. It's like, even though there's a void, somehow the void does eventually, in its own way, get filled. I'm not saying that people are just replaceable. I'm not suggesting that at all. But what I'm saying is that life has this odd way of making space to then refill that space with something that is more required or needed for you. I don't know how to put it into words. It's hard to describe, but I can see it in my head so clearly. It's like this. We have so many stars in the sky, and there's space in between each of the stars. There's a lot of space in between each of the stars. And when a star goes out, another star is born. But for that split second, that star also becomes part of the void, which is there's a bigger web within life. You know what I mean? Is what I'm kind of sort of trying to say. And this crocodile energy is, there's something about adaptability, camouflage, and yeah, it's like this camouflage and in this fluctuation period, in this time, there's like this sense of camouflage. But when people sometimes see you, and I won't say from the circle that I know you from, but we're talking about new people coming in, it might be scary to approach you. And don't laugh. I know you're laughing. But because you have done so well for yourself here. You have created such a solid, people look up to you. You know what I mean? People look up to you, and you're almost like, you teach people a lot. And that can be a little bit scary for people to reach out to you first sometimes, I think. So it's almost like it's come full circle from where we started. From where you started, but you know what I mean? From where we started, where it was almost the reverse. And that in itself is kind of a life and death cycle. So it's a good thing. So now what it means is, it's time for you to assert yourself, like to make sure like, hey, I am approachable. I'm not approachable, but also make sure you divvy up your time right, because it could very well possibly be that when you, if you're unavailable because you're overbooked, people might see that as maybe being dismissive or hard or something that I know you don't want your brand to be associated with. You know what I mean? So try and get some efficiency happening with how people are reaching out to you and things like that. So I will say this, even the viewers know I don't really work too much with animal energy, but I especially crocodiles kind of like a alien to me in that sense. But something else though, and I'm trying to think, are the crocodiles the one that go in the water? Because if they're the ones that go in the water, yeah, there's that sense of camouflage and that like a predator type nature, a hunting type nature. So I feel like hunting for these new opportunities, you may need to be a little bit vocal as well when you see these opportunities, because people may not know that you are actually looking for these opportunities. So if you see it, I need you to speak it and speak on it. When you see it, don't let the opportunity slip by. I kind of feel like that's what this is saying ultimately. I know I went on a whole other kind of tangent, but there was a lot of layers to pull from that card or from that animal totem. So crocodile for your animal totem, that's pretty powerful, Okay, and last but not least, your word of 2020. Caution. Interesting. Caution. Yeah. So here's the card. So I think I see here all together now. Crocodiles camouflage because one is it's their nature to hunt, but also to not be seen in order to be cautious about even their own kind of enemies, right? It is what it is. That's what you do to survive, is be cautious. I feel like hunting for these new opportunities that are very heart-centered, near and dear to your heart. You definitely want to go for it, but you don't want to, I feel like this is coming back to, you don't want to be naive about things. You don't want to be so guarded you don't let anybody in, but you don't want to be so free that you're just going to jump off the cliff before somebody even tells you that, hey, there's, some water down there or a bouncy thing down there. You know what I mean? Split the difference from what you've been kind of sort of doing. The Hermit is pretty cautious. I'd say they're a little bit like slow moving, right? But there's longevity in those movements. And you could keep your eye on the prize, but caution is not a bad word. I think if opportunity presents itself, I think what that kind of even comes back to the Hermit, being prepared, being diligent, making sure you're asking the right questions. You don't want somebody to come up to you and say, here, sign this contract, and then they tell you what the contract is and here, sign it, and then you get ready to sign it without reading it first. That's caution. You see what I mean? I don't feel that this is any kind of like, malicious kind of caution. I just feel like this is saying double check yourself before taking the plunge into new things, but you still want to explore those new opportunities as well. You just don't want to put yourself in a weird position without, dotting your I's and crossing your T's. Okay? Yeah, and it's funny too because this card definitely coincides with this card, because the Hermit corresponds to the sign of Virgo. And Virgo is ruled by Mercury, which is about communication and dexterity. And then this one here is the sign of Virgo, which is Virgo. So your major theme and lesson of the year and your word of the year that came up are basically the same card coming from a different, perspective. I feel like the culmination even kind of comes up here where this queen is standing up and saying, hey, be careful, you guys, right? Throwing caution to the wind and just doing the due diligence. So it seems like, and of course this is like a yearly overview. So I feel though, overall, that it's gonna be a good year. A lot of work going in, a lot of energy, a lot of good things coming in. Just don't rush in. Don't come in at 100 miles an hour. Don't come in at 5 miles an hour, right? Come in at 45 miles an hour. I don't know how many more ways of saying that is going to make you feel anything, but okay. So this is me trying this new yearly spread. This concludes the reading. Let me know how you enjoyed it. Did it resonate? Did it not resonate? Is there anything else that you feel I could have captured? Please let me know. Just go ahead and email me or message me on my FB page, Naya Thrice Chronicles. And thank you for allowing me to read for your 2020 ahead reading. Much love, many blessings. Peace.